Clarity Clinical Solutions.
Patient-reported outcomes. The patient's voice in research. Pro data requires careful statistical handling. It is not as straightforward as analyzing a blood pressure reading. Challenges include missing data, because patients often drop out when they feel worse, multiple comparisons across many questions, and the need for responder analysis versus mean change. A key concept is the MCID, or minimal clinically important difference. This is the smallest change in a PRO score that patients perceive as meaningful. A 2-point drop on a 10-point pain scale might be the MCID, even if 1 point is statistically significant. Here is a real-world example. A new biologic for moderate to severe psoriasis showed dramatic skin clearing in clinical trials. But regulatory approval was strengthened by PRO data showing patients reported significantly less itching, better sleep, and improved social confidence. These outcomes mattered to patients but were not captured by physician skin scores alone. This case illustrates why PROs are not just nice to have. They can be the deciding factor in a product's market success and patient adoption. Regulatory guidance. The FDA, EMA, and other agencies have established clear frameworks for PRO use. The FDA's 2009 PRO guidance, still the gold standard, provides a roadmap for developing and using PRO instruments in medical product development. Key requirements include patient input during instrument development, evidence of content validity, a defined recall period, a pre-specified analysis plan, and clear handling of missing data. The EMA also accepts PRO labeling claims. The International Council for Harmonization has guidance on patient-focused drug development, and organizations like the Critical Path Institute and ISACOL promote PRO standards and scientific rigor. The patient's voice matters. In an era of precision medicine, we must not forget the most fundamental measure of all, how the patient feels and functions. Patient-reported outcomes ensure that clinical research remains focused on what matters most, improving patients' lives. Thank you for watching. Brought to you by Clarity Clinical Solutions, LLC. Patient-reported outcomes, or PROs, are any report of a patient's health status that comes directly from the patient, without interpretation by a clinician or anyone else. Examples include pain severity on a 0 to 10 scale, quality of life questionnaires, daily symptom diaries, functional status assessments, and treatment satisfaction surveys. The key principle is simple: only the patient can report how they feel. No lab test, scan, or physician assessment can substitute for the patient's own experience. Why PROs matter, from patient care to regulatory approval. Why the patient's voice is essential. Regulatory agencies like the FDA and EMA now require PRO data in many disease areas, because survival alone is no longer enough. PROs tell us whether the treatment improves how patients feel and function, whether side effects are worth the benefit, and whether patients can stay on treatment long-term. PROs are especially essential in chronic pain, mental health, cancer symptom management, rare diseases with no biomarkers, and functional gastrointestinal disorders. Today, over 30% of new drug approvals include PRO labeling claims. PRO instruments must be carefully developed, validated, and standardized to produce reliable data. There are generic instruments like the SF36 and EQ5D that work across diseases, disease-specific tools like the EORTC QLQC30 for cancer and the WOMAC for arthritis, and symptom-specific measures like the brief pain inventory. Modern digital tools, known as ePRO, use smartphone apps and wearables. Key properties of a good PRO instrument include reliability, validity, responsiveness, and interpretability. Pros in drug development, how patient-reported data shapes every phase of clinical research. Patient-reported outcomes play a different role at each stage of drug development. In Phase 1, patient diaries track side effects and early symptom burden. In Phase 2, researchers select the most sensitive pro tools and explore dose-response relationships. In Phase 3, pros can serve as primary or key secondary endpoints, with the study powered to detect meaningful differences. In Phase 4, pros enable long-term quality of life monitoring and comparative effectiveness research in real-world settings. The way we collect pro data has evolved dramatically, from paper questionnaires to digital real-time capture. Traditional methods involved paper questionnaires at clinic visits and paper diaries between visits. These suffered from recall bias, backfilled data, and data entry errors. Modern ePro methods use smartphone apps and patient portals for real-time symptom tracking, integrate with wearable devices, send automated reminders to reduce missing data, and transfer data directly to research systems. From data to decision, how raw pro scores translate into regulatory and clinical action.